So there we were, and I asked the first inmate, when will I see my mother? And she pointed at the chimney, and fire was coming out of the chimney, and she said, your mother is burning there. You better talk about her in past tense. So I ask you, how can you find from within when nothing comes from without? The more you depend on others, the more depressed you're going to become. I'm sure your teachers are also teaching you not what to think, but how to think. And that's why you are here together, so you can learn from each other, that you can enhance each other with your differences, rather than kicking each other into submission, because that would be the beginning of the end of democracy. So there I was with my sister, right? And the rabbi was right. I was just being prepared for what was to come. We were shaped completely. And there was my sister with her beautiful hair, and it was all taken away from her. And she looked at me, and she had her hair in her palm, and she asked me, how do I look? Now I had a choice, as you have the choice now, whether you're going to pay attention or concentrate on what you lost, or concentrate on what is left and what is here. And instead of telling her the way she really looked with her bald head, I said to her, Magda, you have beautiful eyes. And I could see it when you had your hair all over the place. So you see, there is always something that you can find something good. I tell your parents to point out what is good about that child. No one learns from criticism. If your report card is not good, I'm going to point out to you what you did well. Maybe you put your name right, whatever is in there that is good. And I'm so happy to be here. This is such a wonderful idea about the butterfly. The butterfly, you see, goes through the metamorphosis, and then you have to shed the chrysalis. You have to shed the bigotry and the prejudices that we have today, that you can truly fly freely like a butterfly. That's a wonderful, wonderful. I thank you to your teachers for really, truly planting that wonderful seed so you can be free from hatred, from fear, and from prejudice means to prejudge. So what happened that night? Dr. Mengele came and wanted to be entertained. And guess what happened? I was the one who was welcoming the president in my little Hungarian costume, you know. And so next thing I knew, they volunteered me, and I danced for Dr. Mengele. And I tell you what I did. As the music was playing outside, I remember I closed my eyes, and I pretended that the music was Tchaikovsky, and I was dancing the Romeo and Juliet at the Budapest Opera House. I'm going to ask you to acknowledge that most of you, when you are in school, you're wondering what you're going to do after school and who you're going to be with. So pay attention whether you're really there, checking in with your teacher, and I'm hoping that you do that, because I dissociated. I checked myself out. So I ask you to check in and help your teacher, because no teacher can really do it without you. By the way, I am a former teacher. I'm a certified teacher and counselor in the state of Texas. And then I went back to school, and I got my master's degree, and I got my doctorate. And so today I'm flying to Washington. I'm helping the people who are going to Iraq about post-traumatic stress disorder, it's called. So I am here just to tell you what happened when Dr. Mengele finished giving me a piece of bread. I saw that picture and I was crying. The way we were, there were three cots, and we were on the top. and I shared the bread with the girls. It was one had 1 foot, one had 1 foot. We all had to turn around the same time. Cooperation was the name of the game, not competition, not domination. My time is very limited here. I'm going to tell you that I stood in line to get my tattoo, and then I didn't get it. They decided that they're going to take me to the gas chamber, and on the way to the gas chamber, they changed their minds, and they picked me up, and I was on the top of the train carrying ammunition for the Nazis with the striped uniform, thinking that they're not going to bomb, but they bombed anyway. Seven girls died around me. My head was so low. I was so close to that, so many times. And now I'm going to tell you, were there good people among the guards? You see, abnormal behavior becomes normal under abnormal conditions. So when my sister told me if I don't get some food, then she's going to die, and we were in a German village, in a kind of a community hall, and I looked and I saw some carrots, and I jumped. And even though we were told, if we leave the premises, we're going to be shot. So I jumped, I stole the carrots, and I climbed up the wall, and I met the guard with a gun. I never held a gun in my life, and I began to really be so scared because I heard the clicking about 3 times. And then he looked at me more like a father. He was going to teach me a lesson, and he turned the gun around and he pushed me inside. Can I see still that mark? But I had the carrots. I gave it to Magda, and the following day he came and he wanted to know who dared to break the rules. And I crawled to him, and he gave me a little piece of bread. He said, "You must have been hungry to do what you did." Isn't it amazing? I wish I could meet this man today. Things got worse after that. I was in Austria, called Mauthausen. They were going to take me to the gas chamber there, and then they changed their minds, and I survived what is called today the death march. If you stop, you were shot right away. And I began to really slow down. I began to become very, very weak, and I said, "Please God, I think I'm going to just not able to walk anymore." And the girls that I shared the bread with, they formed a chair with their arms, and they carried me so I wouldn't die. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that the worst can really bring out the best in us? That if you just for the me, and the I, those people never made it. Cooperation was the name of the game, not competition, not domination. Things got much worse after that in Gunskirchen, and we had nothing to eat. And again, the movie called The Sound of Music. It's in Austria. It's at that place where I was liberated. And I remember I looked down, and I still had a choice. I had grass to eat, and I remember choosing one blade of grass over against the other. So I can't is not in my vocabulary. I'm sure your teacher is going to take the apostrophe and the T out and say, "I can." Why? Because I think I can. I hope I came to you today to let you know that you too have a choice. You have the choice whether you're going to be against something or you're going to be for something. That we're going to be for how we can truly look at each other and develop brotherhood and sisterhood. And yes, I too have a dream that someday we're going to hold hand in hand and form a human family so we can survive on this planet. Thank you so much.